the smell of freshly cut grass comes from the chemicals that the plant releases when they're distressed. So, when you smell it, the grass are telling other grass that they're being chopped. But the thing is, some people love that smell. Well, I do also, but it's such a morbid thing. Oh, hello, everyone. Welcome to Analyzing Abstracts, a show where me and my friends parlay. Today, this very hot day, I have a guest with me. While a normal person sleeps 8 hours a day, she sometimes sleeps up to 12 hours a day. Please welcome Danny Millar.
Hey, Luke. I wasn't ready for that. I like your
uh,
grass talk.
yes, don't talk about grass.
Oh, okay.
No joke lang. I'm glad that I have you awake.
Yeah. For once, you got me awake.
So how's your day, Danny? How's your week?
Um, hellish, but let's not talk about that.
Oh, okay. How's the non-hellish parts of your week?
Actually, Luke, it's been really cold. So I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why it's hot over there, but it's really cold here.
Bakit? Sa akin mainit. It's
I
hot
don't
here.
know. It's really cold, dude. Like, I was about to fall asleep before we started talking, but I'm glad we
This
are
is
here.
we're technically both in Makati, so this is weird. Na she's saying na it's cold, while here it's hot. Well, we're in different parts of the city anyway. So, speaking of the difference between hot and cold, today our topic is a video game one, but we're specifying to a specific video game. It's Pokemon, and the question is what makes Pokemon different from other RPGs or other role-playing games? Now don't go everyone just because I said Pokemon.
Pokemon is great. I will defend that to my deathbed, I guess.
No, I mean like I don't think if you don't if you're not into Pokemon, please still stay because it's kind it's still like we'll try to sales stock you, diba, Danny?
Yes. Yes, please stay. You make some really convincing arguments.
Well, basically, we're gonna talk about Pokemon as a franchise, not just one game. And we're talking about it like not just itself as a game, but what makes it different from other games of its type, which is basically RPG. Yeah, since I remember when I was young, I when before I even knew that there were different types of games, all I know is video game is something that you play on the screen. There's no like platformer, RPG, FPS. So
You and me both.
now that we have like different types. It's kind of weird to realize na Pokemon is really an RPG because of how simple the and streamlined the gameplay is.
That's true. That's true. Um,
Kasi like maybe the thing about Nintendo talaga is they try to take these different genres and turn it into a streamlined simpler like Mario is the most streamlined platformer, Zelda is the most streamlined adventure game. It's not even RPG, it's RPGs, Pokemon ganon. So parang I think that's the idea a bit of Nintendo, but somehow they still make yung streamlined feel still different, like hindi siya like easy mode lang ganon.
yeah. I think I remember you told me to watch that video about Western RPGs and
Mm,
how Japanese RPGs stemmed from that. And I think it's really interesting when you say streamlined. Um, I guess they make it a bit simpler and more understandable and less intimidating for the players to engage in.
yeah.
Um, I thought it was really interesting because I didn't realize Western RPGs asked you to build a character from the scratch, very bare bones, I guess. Like
Yeah.
you have power over the stats, your name, your class, and everything. While I guess JRPGs they already have a pre-selected, what do you call it? Um,
Pre-generated characters.
yes, pre-generated characters that you will build up by yourself, but it's not from scratch. So you have something to help you along, I guess.
Yeah. Cause like well, in essence, like RPG, the idea of an RPG, a role playing game, really stems from Dungeons and Dragons. So what you know of Dungeons and Dragons, and then you turn that into a video game, that's basically an RPG. But the difference between Pokemon and other JRPGs or Japanese RPGs is that, yun nga, as you said, na characters are usually already pre-generated, or like the characters are already made. You're just choosing which one you're playing as.
Yeah, yeah.
So the video Danny is talking about is by Game Maker's Toolkit. You should watch that if if you really love like video game design. He has a video that talks about where RPGs, JRPGs mostly, stem from, and basically it stemmed from Western RPGs, and then everything just comes to Dungeons and Dragons, diba?
Yeah, definitely. I think the closest to Dungeons and Dragons the Japanese RPGs went or got was Dragon Quest. Am I right?
Yes. Medyo. Kasi, the only difference lang is may party system,
Yeah,
which you can say na Dungeons and Dragons has. But I think nga na, like the video said, Western RPGs are more focused on just one person. So you the player doing this adventure. But JRPGs are focused on this character, not you the player. This character.
definitely.
This character doing this adventure. Tapos Western RPGs usually have nameless characters nga. So like in Fallout, you're just called the Lone Wanderer, ganon.
Yeah.
Or like in Dragon Age, you're like the Inquisitor in Inquisition, parang ganun. Everyone's like just what do you call that? Just an honorific na parang
That's so interesting because for what do you call it? For a game, for a
mm-mm,
Western RPG, for it to make you the focus of the story, but at the same time, um, let's say give you a nameless character to play, that's somehow that's cool. I think it's really cool. Like how do they bridge like that what was I saying?
nameless.
Yeah, how do they make it personal but at the same time like
Oh,
it detaches you from the game? Like you're just a nameless guy, but then it still focuses on you.
kasi it's reliant on your choices. And the
Mm,
game does not surround, usually Western RPGs are focused more on player choice talaga na do you go to this place first, do you go to this place first, do you help this group, do you not help this group. So it's like in JRPGs kasi usually there's a linear path towards something, tapos but you have a party going with you. Yeah. So like idea dun is, oh, this adventure is so epic ganon that you have to have a group of people with you.
oh,
While in a Western RPG it's more open na parang, oh, it's just you. Go wherever you want, parang ganon.
that's cool. Hmm.
I think nga ano, medyo layo sa Pokemon, pero I think the game na parang in the middle but at the same time not really. It's more Western pa rin. Pero The Witcher kasi, it's not a nameless character. You're playing Geralt. But what they did na very Western RPG is you choose what kind of Geralt your Geralt is gonna be. Parang ganun. That's the same with Mass Effect din, kasi Mass Effect you're playing Commander Shepard, but you're choosing what kind of Commander Shepard you're gonna be. Are you a male? Are you a female? Are you an evil? Are you good? But dito sa Witcher kasi you're just Geralt. Isa lang ang gender ni Geralt. Isa lang yung appearance ni Geralt. Isa lang yung history ni Geralt. So it's cool na ginawa ng Witcher games na you're still playing a pre-generated character, but um you are still making you're still making different choices from other players, parang ganon.
Yeah, that's very similar to Pokemon then.
'Di ba?
What would you say?
Cuz usually kasi in Western RPGs, you choose like the background of your character, what stats they're good at, what stats they're not good at, which is more in depth ganon. Pero in The Witcher, you're just in. You don't choose what kind of stats. Actually, Geralt doesn't even have stats if you think about it. He just
Mm.
goes around ganon.
It's kind of
So
like Link.
yeah, parang ganon. Yeah, actually, parang Zelda yung dating ng na Witcher. The difference lang is it's more RPG talaga than kasi Zelda is more action oriented eh. This one is more RPG based na may experience and tech trees ganon. So yeah, I think nga going back to JRPGs naman. The idea between a for a JRPG is like you have this character and they're going to save the world. Ganon. Parang ganon yung dating.
Yeah, yeah. It's very simple.
Have you played like what JRPGs have you played?
I don't think I've played a lot. I think just the
Fire
big,
Emblem lang?
yeah, and then Pokemon, and then Zelda games.
Uh,
Final
though,
Fantasy,
which one?
Octopath.
Which Final Fantasy?
Um,
Octopath
the,
Traveler, that's a good one.
the only Final Fantasy I can play is
Which
Tactics.
Oh, you should oh wala pala. I think some Final Fantasy games are coming to the Switch. Ganun. But for me, the JRPG that I really really love, you there's this game called Chrono Trigger. Have you
Ah,
heard of it?
yes, I've heard of it.
Because it's really really fun. And I think it aged well, even though of course the graphics are pixels, ganon. Pero
Yeah.
it's so big, it's so vast, and it's so good. The story is so good, and the story pag goes through different time periods.
Mhm.
Like you go to the distant past, to the prehistoric past, to the
Oh,
ultimate future, and then each time period you're getting a new party member, parang ganon. So
I
like
see.
may party member na cave woman, but then sa distant future may party member na robot, parang ganon. Tapos ang goal nyo is basically to find the right pathway to go to the right time period so that you can stop this like parang I don't remember if it's a meteor or if it's a volcano, basta some earthly event to stop it from happening, ganon, to save the world.
Speaking of
Pero
SM, I just remembered also because Mother 3 is also similar in that you also collect your
ah,
party members. I love Mother 3.
I
Um,
wanna play that.
yeah, you should. It made me cry.
Oh, where
And
did you play it?
um, this is illegal. I played it on my phone because there was an emulator.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's really cool because as the story progresses, you get a bunch of party members. The battle system is also turn based, but then your attacks are rhythm based. So it's really
yeah.
neat. Like it's
That's what Mario RPG copied. Copied quotation marks. Yung
copy.
rhythm based na turn based.
Yeah. So I
Have
guess
you played you should look at yung mga Paper Mario kasi yun din yung idea niya na parang rhythm based.
cool. Paper Mario.
Yeah, so Mother 3. But I think Earthbound, yung prequel
Yeah.
to Mother 3, I think the designer of it wanted to create a video game na hindi fantasy, na hindi like swords and sorcery na fantasy. He wanted to
Yeah.
create a game na hindi rin sci-fi. He didn't want it to go sci-fi. So he thought, why not let's play a game about these kids trying to save the world.
Actually, that's so interesting because they are normal kids, and the monsters that they battle aren't like freaky monsters. As in,
Yeah,
they're just items from everyday life. So that's really
diba?
cool. It's
Yeah,
simple and
he
it's
just wanted
grounded.
a different genre, parang ganun. Pero
Yeah.
it's just sad na hindi siya na pick up kasi after Mother 3, they didn't release another game like that. Sana Nintendo creates another one nga eh.
Oh my gosh, I would buy that in a heartbeat.
I think nga people played it again because of how Ness and Lucas are in Smash Bros. So people are like, who are these kids? What game are they from?
Oh, I'm glad people are discovering it. They're great games.
So yeah, JRPGs more focused on party, but what makes Pokemon different essentially is that you're creating a party, but the weird thing is your character is not part of the party that's fighting.
Yeah. It's very actually it's very low risk for you the player, but then you'd have to just worry about your Pokemon. And it's really neat that it's like a one-on-one thing, whereas the original RPGs it's like a party battle.
Yeah,
you're one
like
person.
mga Final Fantasy.
Yeah, and that makes it so scary. What did you say?
And it's just so different kasi it feels different lang kasi parang the idea nga na it's your story but you're not the one fighting, but at the same time you're the one telling these Pokemon what to do,
Yeah.
which is in essence a little problematic kasi you're gonna think you're gonna understand why PETA was very angry at Pokemon kasi it's like animal blah blah blah, but then don't ruin our fun.
And Pokemon's core anyway is about friendship.
Yeah,
I should have
and it
watched the show.
and they don't die anyway. They just faint.
Yeah, that's why we have Pokemon centers.
It's so weird. We're trying to no. We're
The fancies
trying
are in a
to.
bunch. And PETA, what? I don't believe PETA. They're very controversial.
Oh, that's true, naman. I'm not defending them. I'm just
Yeah,
saying what they're saying kind of makes sense, naman, if you
it's
think about it.
true. It's
Because
true.
we're tapos the idea pa of how to catch Pokemon na parang you have to you have to beat them down a bit pa,
Yeah.
lessen their HP before capturing them. So like, but it's
Hey,
okay. It's cute,
that's
cute.
that's true. But wouldn't you say RPGs are also the same? Other RPGs, I mean, like you beat monsters, you beat other people for
But
the sake of a
you are beating them up. You're not asking someone else to do it for you.
Well, that's true, I guess. Fine, I concede.
Grabe. Well, I'm not saying naman na it's bad, but again, I think that's what I know. But again, why would you want to recommend? Here's a question na lang. Why would you want to recommend Pokemon to someone, whether or not they play an RPG? But why would you recommend it to them?
It opens up the world to a bunch of people. Like personally, growing up, I learned how to commute when I was in college. So I guess having that kind of platform or medium for me to explore like the world was
Uh,
really fun. Like I guess that's why I developed like an attachment to it because
mm,
it made me feel like I could go out and then explore and then like I knew something about the world that other people did not. So I thought that was very interesting. And it became something super personal to me in that you can you can choose your starter. You have the option to change your name or keep your name. You can even choose your gender if you wanted to be a boy or a girl.
and you
That
can
was
name your Pokemon pa.
that was really interesting. And like you can choose from a roster of 150 Pokemon back then, and that's grown to I guess over 700. So
Yeah.
not one team is similar to the other players, and it's not just the team, but the Pokemon's moves, like their move sets. What would you give your Pokemon that the other players would not? What would give your Pokemon an edge? So I think that really, yeah, just to reiterate, that really opened up my world, I guess. So it made it fun.
Honestly, for me then, like Pokemon would I would argue would be my first RPG then as a kid.
Mm,
Tapos I don't the feeling of like exploring
yeah,
made you feel so good inside.
that's
Cause
true.
like and the idea na because usually JRPGs are like at the end you're gonna fight a villain, ganon. Here
Hmm.
it's not. You're just going around being the best Pokemon trainer you are. No, well there are villains, pero
Yeah,
like they're like I want to say side quest, but
actually, they kind of
they're not
are.
they're not too bad. Well, they are bad, but hindi sila like yung main thing. Your main goal in life is to save the world. Parang ganon.
Yeah,
Your
and
main goal of the game is not to save the world. Ayon.
yes, definitely. Your main your main goal actually is to have fun and make it to championships.
'Di ba?
You
To be
train
the
up the
best.
best team.
You're gonna be the very best. Yun nga yung simula, di ba?
Mm, yeah. Yes.
Like,
I love Pokemon.
thus I think the show then, the anime, highlights then how fun Pokemon is. Because even though Ash is a little one dimensional if you think about it. Because throughout seasons he still hasn't changed.
He's
But
so 10.
Pero like the idea nga na parang I'm going on an adventure ganon. I think
Yeah.
that's something that everyone can relate to.
Yeah,
Na it
definitely.
doesn't necessarily mean na adventure as in going out, but more like doing what you want to do.
Yeah, you have so much freedom. I mean, yeah, the choice that you have and then going around the world, I guess. It's so fun. What was I saying? Anyway, yeah, so it really just widens your horizon. I mean, I guess before the internet connection was stable, I had Pokemon, and that was great.
Aw,
Yeah. I was
that's
so,
that kind of sounds sad.
well, I mean, yeah, it is sad. But I had friends.
And also what you said about like there's like so many Pokemon because usually in JRPGs nga, the parties there are some RPGs na set yung party mo. For example, like Final Fantasy na parang these are the set people you're going to meet. You
Mhm.
can make them join you ganon or not ganon. But usually I think from what I've played, usually yung party you always make them join parang ganun. But
Yeah.
again, why wouldn't you? But then like here in Pokemon, since there's like a lot of choices, it's really up to you, ganun. Parang
Yeah. And you can just
like
like skip out this
like
Pokemon.
yeah, it's like the variability of the whole thing makes the simplicity better in a way
Definitely.
kasi parang dapat 'di ba having these many choices would overwhelm a person. But
Mm-hmm.
because it takes time to actually catch a Pokemon, because you have to actually go to their habitat, ganon.
Yeah.
And especially now in the new one, the Pokemon Sword and Shield, they added the wild area where not only the habitat is affected, but also the time of day. Na some Pokemon appear in a specific time of day in real life, ganon. So parang you're working, because of the fact that you're working hard, hindi siya overwhelming as like just here are all the choices, ganon. Hindi siya ganon.
Yeah, and speaking of overwhelming, I guess the simplicity in the gameplay really helps. I guess let's say you're playing Dungeons and Dragons and then you're low on health. You don't have that many opportunities to, I guess, save yourself.
Mhm.
Like unless you're super unlucky, I guess you die or something. But here the risks are so low. The consequences
Yeah.
about, I guess, battling other people, you're not ready to battle. I guess there's like a cap for it. So there's like a cap in difficulty that a lot of kids would just, I don't know. I think they just enjoy the game. I mean, make something so hard, then you take away the fun, right?
Yeah, because imagine if instead of using the word faint, they use that the Pokemon actually die. Imagine if there's like if they added permadeath. Like in Fire Emblem, there's permadeath. If one of your party members actually die, they don't come back.
Oh my gosh, that's such a headache. I remember defeating like one level where none of my party members could die, and then it took me like 2 hours to defeat. And after that, like I was shaking, as in my head was hurting and everything. I was like, "That's not fun," but like I'm glad I defeated it.
But again, that's the point kasi of those games na parang the idea there is you have to make the right choice. I mean, you can save scum. You can save scumming means yung reloading the save so that to the point where they haven't died yet. But like you can do that, but that's not the intention of the developer for you to keep your party members. Some of them are supposed to die. But here in Pokemon, you can see na parang their idea is you they're just fainting. If you lose, for example, you're like in a route or like on a road
Mhm.
towards somewhere, and then all of your Pokemon faint. You just go back to the town you came from, and
Yeah,
then heal up, and then just go back, and
I think
it's like a
it resets you to the last Pokemon Center. I think so. That's
yeah. So
quick.
pati like yung feeling na parang oh you failed, it's okay, just get back up, try again.
It's so easy. And I guess, the worst consequence would be you lose a little bit of money, but I mean, that's it.
I mean, some games do that, like in Borderlands.
Mm.
Whenever you, it's an FPS na. In Borderlands, kasi when you die there, just lose half your money and then you're respawned.
That's what happens in Pokemon too.
Na, 'di ba? Parang ganun na parang dying or like failing is not sobrang.
It's not the end of the world.
Yes, it's not like all of my work. Parang it's not like that. It's more like okay.
Yeah, like in Zelda, where you totally have to repeat the whole dungeon. That's what
What,
that's for.
you died in the dungeon?
Um, in Ocarina of Time, I think
Oh, okay.
I reached the second level of the dungeon, and then something killed me. So I had to restart at the very beginning. And I already
But
spent like an
the
hour on that.
the door's already open. The ganun. Don't you save?
No, this one restarts. Like even though I save at the second level, let's say, it brings you back to the very beginning of the dungeon.
Well, again, maybe that just shows again how accessible Pokemon is. Like, if you think, oh, video game is not for me, why not try Pokemon?
Yeah. I mean, the simplicity and the number of choices you have, like, it makes for a really personal experience. It
Mm-mm.
really brings out your
It's
personality.
it's weird nga na parang for a game with no moral choices, it it makes you feel like it's personal pa rin just because of how many Pokemon types or like how many ways you can form a party out of the Pokemon.
Yeah, it is so fun because, like, there's also unpredictability. Is that the word?
Yes, kasi you're still rolling the dice whenever you're attacking, di ba?
Yeah.
May RNG pa rin.
You don't know like what your opponent is gonna choose next. Like if your move is gonna hit or miss, or if it's a critical hit. And like when you're roaming around the grass, you don't know what Pokemon is gonna come up and attack you. So that's super fun. I think the collecting part is also like amazing. Like the fact
Yeah,
that you can collect over a
the
hundred,
idea nga na you can collect as much Pokemon as you want is
right?
the one of the fun parts, diba? And the fact that you're not limited to like one type of each Pokemon. So like I once I get the Pikachu, I can still get another Pikachu ganon. It's not like in if I have Chrom in Fire Emblem and I want another Chrom, I can't.
You can have a party of Pikachus, and one Pikachu might be stronger than the other. That's super interesting. The RNG effect of like having different, like the same species, but different, I guess, a different Pikachu, like
You
would
can
give you
you can
different
even
results.
like each Pikachu has a different moves.
Yeah.
Kasi
Like,
you can teach moves, diba?
yeah, you can teach moves. Like this Pikachu can learn, like, I guess, an interesting, like another type of move. It's so nice. And like there are things called effort values and individual values. Do you know that, Luke?
Is this yung ano? Wait, tell me.
Um, so I guess effort values are what contribute to your Pokemon's stat growth. So let's say you want to raise up
Mm.
your Pokemon's attack. Then you defeat a Pokemon that would give you those points. So then overall,
Yeah, yeah.
that Pokemon will be stronger attack wise. While
Yeah, yeah.
your individual values are kind of like the genes of your Pokemon. So these you can't see talaga. You
Yeah.
get them once you encounter. There's like it's like RNG agad, or once you hatch an egg, it's RNG. It's like your Pokemon's genes, the makeup, and
Mm-mm.
it also determines like whether or not you get a powerful Pokemon or weak Pokemon in the end. So no matter how many effort values you um get from defeating other Pokemon, if your Pokemon has, let's say, low IVs from the very beginning, then sorry, you kind of have like a crappy Pokemon. I mean, like,
Pero yun, like, what I like then about Pokemon is it's actually very complicated if you think, because there's so
yeah,
many stats, because there's attack, there's defense, and then there's special attack and
yeah,
special defense, and then there's the different types of attacks, but if it's a physical attack or if it's what's the other type? Physical or
special.
special, yeah, special, tama. if it's
Yeah.
a physical or special. Kasi, for example, if the Pokemon punches, that's a physical attack kasi it's something physical it's
Mhm.
doing. But if the Pokemon does Psybeam, that's a special attack because it doesn't necessarily have a physical element. So may mga ganon. Tapos meron pang attacks na hindi attack, they're just statistic effects. So like tail whip decreases the defense of your opponent, hardens strengthens your defense, ganun. But what I like about Pokemon is even if you don't know or don't understand any of the statistics, you can still win.
Yeah, that's true. Because it's so simple. I mean, I guess. No, I forgot what I was gonna say, dude. Yeah, I guess like you can't really. I guess in a battle with a friend, you can't really. You don't really know the outcome in the end because you won't ever know what moves they're gonna pull, right? So that's interesting to me too. Like you could lose or you could win. Definitely if you're going against like an in-game boss or something, you have to win. But if you're going against a friend or another like player, you never really know. Like you could train your Pokemon as best as you could and make them like be the most perfect Pokemon out there. But then the variability of the moves, the combos that your opponent is gonna pull, you never know. And I think that's really fun.
Yeah.
It keeps you on your toes, I
But
guess.
I like then how Pokemon simplifies. It's like it has what everyone, I don't know if everyone knows this, but I think people know na Pokemon is a very rock paper scissors kind of game na para na specific types of Pokemon are stronger than other types, parang
Yep.
ganon. So even if you don't know the attack value or the speed value of your Pokemon, the idea that oh, this fire Pokemon can defeat this grass Pokemon, parang okay na yun. I don't need to know the attack values, ganun, or the
But
statistics.
it's also interesting because if that grass Pokemon is weak to a fire Pokemon, then you, as the player, have the option to counter it with like by making your grass Pokemon learn, let's say, a ground type move. So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
interesting. There's so many options. It's
So many options.
yeah.
So yun, parang I think talaga what people, it's kind of weird na people, some people don't want to try it, but I think it's something na it's very accessible. I'm not forcing people naman to play it,
Yeah.
pero like I'm just saying na parang it's different than like playing a Mario game or a Zelda game. Pokemon is more of a paano ba? What for you? What is Pokemon compared to like other Nintendo games?
I guess ayun, we mentioned it. We have the fact that there's so many things to choose from, the choices. It's not exactly open world, but the fact that you have so much freedom to choose your Pokemon and how they'll grow, it's I don't know. I think that's one.
I think it compared to other Nintendo games, it feels more personal
Yeah.
because you're not playing a set character with a set story. You're making up your own story. But at the same time, if you take like the macro view of it, we're all experiencing the same story naman eh.
Yeah.
We're all going to this town first and then this town
I
first
think
and
it
then this
helps.
town first.
Yeah. The fact
Yeah,
that it's
but
so
then
linear.
yeah, the linear, that's a thing about JRPGs na linear talaga siya. Eh. Wala na usually our JRPGs are doesn't deviate from the story, but the linearity helps in a way kasi the choices that you make in the micro sense feels important to you kasi
Yeah.
for you for example pwedeng ganito yung na-discover kong attack dahil pumunta ako sa lugar na to, but parang paano ba? For example, I found this specific type of attack and then I used this to this Pokemon that I found in this place that might be different from you. Parang ganun.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah, so
a very personal experience. It's really
yeah,
you.
it's a more personal. It's really you, not like other games na Nintendo like Mario. You're just playing Mario
Or
and Link. Even though your Link, that's still Link.
that's true. That's true.
Here, it's you choosing this. What kind of Pokemon do you want? And the fact that you can name the trainer whatever you want, diba? You can name it with your name if you want to be you, diba? You can make it look like you if you want.
I guess, yeah, it's similar to other JRPGs, but I guess the wealth of choices you have really helps it along, and that's why it's such a, what do you call that? What do you call that?
I don't know then.
That's why it's such a popular game. I think it's earned its place in like
Popular, yeah.
um the industry.
Yeah, like we said nga na JRPGs kasi are focused on pre-generated characters. Here, what they did, they made pre-generated party members and the character is you controlling the party members, which makes it different kasi you're personalizing your character and their choices, but they don't have to weave or like change the story on what choices you're doing because the choices that you're doing only affects like what you're doing right
Yeah,
now.
on a
Does that
small
make sense?
scale. Yep, yeah.
Yeah, hindi siya tulad like in a Western RPG na
It's very story
that
focused.
whatever not really it's more like for example if I have high charisma I can talk to people ganon pero that affects whether or not I can talk to this person ganon here in Pokemon whether or not you choose a boy and a girl or if you choose your name or not if you choose to go directly to the Pokemon gym or go around first explore it doesn't affect yung magiging outcome mo.
Yeah. So like we said, it's very low risk.
Yeah, low risk. Low risk, but you feel like it's still personal. You still
Yeah.
feel like it's your game.
And you still feel like the choices you make count. So
Mm-mm.
great.
Even though it's an illusion of choice in the end. Kasi, again,
It's made
in
for
the
kids.
macro scale of things naman, everyone's story is the same.
Yep. And like the primary audience is really just kids. Kids who want to
Yeah.
feel like they know something of the world.
But then you can make it harder then kasi in the end game, like the post game, after you become the champion, you can still fight, diba? You can still fight stronger things, ganon, stronger people. So it's like it captures all its audience. Parang ganon. Hindi lang siya for casual, hindi lang siya for hardcore, hindi lang siya for kids, hindi lang siya for adults. It's for everyone talaga.
And I guess the simplicity helps that. So like a bunch of
Yeah,
people can play it. Like if
yeah.
people weren't fussy about the story, then they'll just collect the Pokemon.
I'd like then the story is kind of thin in a good way, because like you don't need to care about it, but at the same time, if you do want to, it's there for you to care about.
That makes it good. But what would you say would make it a con?
Not what do you mean? Kasi what do you mean by make it a con? Do I want to make it a con or what
Um,
makes the thin story a con?
yeah, what makes it a con?
Oh, if the story is so thin na hindi na ako I'm not engaged anymore. I'm bored. I'm just repeating the same thing over and over and over
Yeah,
again
you're just
with no
grinding.
purpose. Yeah, so it's just one big grinding, ganon. That's the con of a thin story. But here in Pokemon, it's thin enough for it not to hinder your enjoyment of the gameplay, but it's thick enough na you feel like there's a progression.
Yeah. Hmm.
It that makes sense, right? Kasi you're going through city to city. Each city changes and the level and the like yung story aspect niya is like especially in this new one in Sword and Shield, the fact that the gym leaders you get to talk to them outside of
Mm-hmm.
the gyms. Even in I think even in Sun and Moon, because there's no gyms in Sun and Moon. Eh. So the fact that these gym leaders are becoming more than just people you have to battle. They're like friendly competition. Ayon,
Yeah.
yun yung term. They're like your friendly competition. Parang
I
ganon.
kind of like I kind of like how they are given a bit more personality, but I wish that they push it even more in the later games, like in Sword and Shield. I mean,
Yeah, I get it. I mean, that's what they're trying to do, 'di ba? Like some of your rivals may the idea naman here I think is some of your rivals are going to be the ones that you're gonna fight eventually, 'di ba? To be
hmm
the champion. Na in the previous games, uh I think in Sword and Shield you have like three rivals, 'di ba? Na hindi gym leader,
yep,
but
yep.
in the previous games, it's only one person, and this you have to defeat them at the end. Parang ganun lang. I think they're trying naman to make the story more involved, but I think that's what makes Pokemon fun. Then is how thin it is, and how much it doesn't hinder to your enjoyment of the gameplay. Because imagine if Pokemon had like cutscenes like Fire Emblem, which has like very very long cutscenes, diba?
Yeah. In fact, and then I guess you're kind of forced to go through that.
But kasi you're going in Fire Emblem wanting a story kasi.
True. Yeah.
In Pokemon, you're not going in for the story. You're going in because it's Pokemon.
Yeah, you're mostly there for like the little creatures.
Yeah. And I like talaga how much it's changed throughout the years. Because for transparency, the only I've played is I played the first one, the blue. Then I played Sapphire, and then I played Emerald after that because I heard that after I played Sapphire, because then I heard that Emerald came out. I mean, why didn't I buy Emerald? And then I stopped and I didn't get to play anymore. And then when Let's Go Pikachu came out, which is basically Yellow ata.
Mm.
It's a remake of Yellow. I played that, and then I'm playing Sword na rin. So I skipped a lot, but but
But you
from
didn't
what
miss out on
from
anything.
the jump, yeah, I feel like I didn't miss out on anything because when I went in Sword, it's so graphically, it's of course amazing because now it's a 3D world na. It's
Mm.
multi-directional, not like in Emerald where I came from. Na it's a square grid. Graphically, it improved. Of course, everything technical improved, but the gameplay is still basically the same.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It can now. My question is, what if I've played Pokemon every time, every generation? Will I get bored of the similar gameplay? I'm not sure. I can't say kasi I didn't play it na tuloy-tuloy, 'di ba?
Say for me personally, I've played almost all of it except for the last for the three in the 3DS.
Mhm.
But
The X and Y
X and
and
Y,
Sun and Moon.
Sun and Moon, and the remake of Ruby and Sapphire. But I've played Emerald and Ruby.
Yeah.
Um, I think I think the past generations, the fact that they have different villains with different motivations help the story along. But the later games, I think, like in Sword and Shield, I think I think that's why I felt like it needed to be more involved because the previous generations did like the villains well and did the side stories well enough for me to want to keep playing. Here, I guess in Sword and Shield, I think I needed more of like a threat. Now it was
Oh
just too
wow, you're
simple.
unchallenged.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I feel that though. I feel that. I do feel that
Like let's say you
it like the stakes are already low. They made it even lower.
Yeah, definitely. Like you go into the wild area, but then you can catch like these strong monsters. So it kind of limits you. I forgot what else. Like what they kind of put a cap on a bunch of things. I just can't remember anymore.
But how about like gameplay wise? The fact that the gameplay hasn't changed at all throughout the even though there again there's I don't know when they added the special and physical attacks. I don't know when they tweak some of the stats, but the fact that the gameplay is the same every game.
Mm.
Ha, what do you think? Is that a good thing or a bad thing if you're like someone who's playing it over and over and over?
Um, I think I'm kind of in the middle because while it's easy and it's just like mindless grinding sometimes, um, you kind of want more from it. I think that's why I really like the contest mechanics from Emerald and the contest mechanics in Diamond and Pearl because they differed from each other and there's something it's something extra to do besides like battling. Like in
Maybe that's why they tried like what they I think that's why they tried like sa Sun and Moon. Na it's not just they removed gyms in Sun and Moon. Eh.
mm,
They put island trials where you have to do specific things, find specific Pokemon in an area, and then at the end you do a standard battle with the quote unquote gym leader. But there they call it like Kahuna leader, parang ganon. that's like them trying to spice it up, diba? But then maybe the fact that they went back to gyms in Sword and Shield, hindi sa, it's not that it failed, but more like maybe they deviated too much from the what people loved about it.
Well, that's always a risk, I think. But
So what do you think about gameplay additions like yung Dynamaxing, Gigantamaxing, the Mega Evolutions? I forgot which game added that. Yeah, yung mga ideas na ganun na. They added more stuff.
fun. But at the same time, they're only kind of just add-ons to the battle system, which is
Mm-mm.
it's cool. I guess it gives you like an edge over players who don't have that, or like it makes it more challenging. But then again, it's just battling. What I really liked was like the extra, let's say, unnecessary, I guess, things like contests. You don't really like.
Mm.
They're not.
That for you is the what changes from game to game na a good thing.
Yeah, like contests, you don't really need them. They're just like a fun kind of add-on. And then the like I guess how you make your Pokemon win there also differs. I found it really fun before. Like you can dress up your Pokemon, you can dress up your Pokeball. Like when your Pokemon comes out as a
Mm-mm.
Pokeball, like there are effects, and then you can feed it like certain coffins that would give it an edge in the contest. So I thought that would be really cool, and the fact that the nature of your Pokemon could help it along in the contest, and the moves that it knows. I thought it was really fun. Like it's
Yeah.
extra thought to it.
You like the more mundane parts. Yung parang break between battling na parang it's not just battle, 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 gano'n.
Yeah, and in I think I'm not sure. Emerald, I think, introduced secret bases. And so did Diamond and Pearl. I think they continued it there. Like you could excavate there and get fossils or like get gems. I thought it was really cool. But they removed that kind of fun from the next games.
Yeah, that's why I think nga na maybe the reason then why they didn't change the battle style all these years is because it technically changes na every time they introduce a new set of Pokemon. Because when you introduce a new set, you're learning these new Pokemon, you're understanding how they work. So it changes na yung gameplay in a way. In a way, parang
Yeah,
ganon.
in a way. Very minor way. I
How
also
about
appreciate that.
you appreciated the
I also really appreciate that when Soul Silver and Heart Gold allowed you to walk with your Pokemon. That was really cute, like cute detail. Like it's not like important or anything, but you can sometimes turn around, talk to your Pokemon, interact with it. It would make
Aw.
like cute faces, or it would give you an item. That's fun. I think the more recent iterations of that would be like camping or when you can pet your
I
Pokemon.
love the
Camping
camping.
is cute, yeah, and you can cook for them and you can gain EXP.
Like it's nothing like it's something that you don't even have to do, but you do it just because it's fun.
Like just because you can interact with them and maybe it makes your Pokemon feel better. Like you make it
Mm-mm.
you kind of bring it to the realm of the real world, but
Yeah,
not
I
really.
like the idea nga na they added the thought na the more the Pokemon is closer to you, to
Mhm.
the trainer, the more they're gonna fight harder. So I'm like, oh, my
Yeah,
babies.
thanks. Sorry for
Thank you, babies.
sorry for making you battle for me.
So sorry for fighting for me. We're going back to that.
Yeah.
Oh, how about this one? What do you feel about the fact that the Pokédex entries here in Sword and Shield, they had to remove some Pokemon?
Um I think because it's the first game on the Switch and it might be the first game little kids play from the series or franchise, I think it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's okay that it's kind of limited so that it's not like overwhelming. So you can kind of take it like it's the first gen or something. But the fact that you have to pay to expand would be like crappy.
Well, they didn't do that. Oh, well, did they do that? Na?
For the expansion pass, you purchase it
Oh,
and then you get like a bunch of different Pokemon, I think, in the end.
but would you take that as like buying an expansion and then you having new party members that you can add?
Sorry? Buying an expansion.
For example, there's an expansion to Fire Emblem, and when you buy that, there's another story that they add, and that gives you even more party members. Parang, won't you consider it like that?
Oh yeah, I definitely would if I did not know that the option to expand your decks is already like there. Like the fact that other people can buy the game and then you can trade it into another game that's free is kind of like hmm, unfair. Do you get it?
No.
Um, so it's already possible, like the national decks, but then the fact that they had to package it that you had to buy the expansion pass for you to get the national decks is kind of unfair.
What national decks?
National decks, diba? Like that's what you get after defeating the region, so that you have more Pokemon you can get. But then like in the original, you don't get more. You have to buy expansion pass so you can import the Pokemon. Ah, never mind. It's kind of hard to explain, but
I'm confused.
the possibility of a national dex was already
Are you
possible.
saying na parang yung Pokemon na before you can trade Pokemon, now you can't?
You can, but then let's say the original has a cap na. Like they capped it to this set of Pokemon. But when they released the
Okay.
expansion pass, parang it was possible pala to import a bunch of Pokemon from old games. Ah, basta
So
ganon.
yun nga, my point is, won't it be the same as like, for example, if Marth wasn't in the newest Fire Emblem, but they added him in an expansion pass? Won't that be the same thing lang?
Huh, I guess.
Pero it makes sense adding him in an expansion pass, not in the original. Because in the original, he's not part of the story. But in the expansion, he is part of the story. That's why you're getting Marth there. Won't that be the same thing with this? Na parang your the original game is just these Pokemon because you're exploring this area. But since the expansion adds a new area, it makes sense that there will be some Pokemon there na did not exist in the area where you were before. Na some of them might be the Pokemon that appeared in previous games, but you're paying the more content.
I guess. I just wish it was free.
That's that's a different tactic na if you think about it. Kasi lugi sila dun.
That's another topic.
For me, honestly, the idea na the Pokédex is smaller, for me, it's okay. Kasi I see it as like in collectible card games wherein they phase out some cards from use. Like in Magic the Gathering, they cycle out, I mean, some cards. Now you can't use these cards anymore in tournaments kasi they're like an old set na. Which for me is okay pa rin
See.
in Pokemon kasi the problem kasi if you put all of the Pokemon in one game, it's just gonna balloon and balloon to the point where it's gonna be unbalanced na.
Mm. Get.
So for me, it's okay for them to remove Pokemon kasi if they don't add new Pokemon, people will say na it's just the same game. So if they're adding new Pokemon, they have to remove some Pokemon to make the game balance pa rin.
Yeah, I guess it gives the newer Pokemon a chance to flourish on their own.
But
Yeah.
kasi imagine if they release a new Pokemon game and they didn't add any new Pokemon. Would you like so between a game na they didn't add any new Pokemon and between a game where they did add but they had to remove some of the older ones, which would you prefer?
I guess I'd like to be introduced to new Pokemon and like forget
'Di ba?
about the
That's
old
my point
ones
eh.
first.
'Di ba? It's like if the gameplay is not changing. So the way they're changing it is by adding more Pokemon. So it makes sense then for them to remove some of the Pokemon kasi yun nga as I said, hindi na it would be ballooning and ballooning. What if it reaches the point na na the game file size is so big that it can't handle all of the Pokemon, 'di ba?
Sense. Hmm.
But then, in rebuttal to my own statement, I think the Sword and Shield Pokédex is too tiny.
That's true.
I think they removed too much Pokemon naman.
Yeah, I mean, and they didn't even add that many new Pokemon.
When they said that they're removing Pokemon, I'm like, okay. But then when I saw how much they were removing, I'm like, that's too much.
Yeah, imagine like you already have about 800 Pokemon in existence, and then they cut that down to like only how many? 100 something. That's so tiny. And the fact that they're not
it's not,
totally new.
it's not that big naman, that big of a gap. Pero
Yeah, but then the thing is,
I
the new Pokemon aren't that many either.
yeah, like dapat how many they removed, that's how much they added as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what they did. They added a few Pokemon, but they removed a lot.
Yeah, man. I think that's why.
That's the bad thing that they did naman. So, seeing how much, I hope after listening to this, anyone listening who plays Pokemon should try the new one. Even though there's a lot, we said a lot of cons. There's still a lot of good ones, good parts. Like the wild area for me talaga is one of the best parts of the new Pokemon.
See them out of the grass.
I like that then that you can see the Pokemon because you can now choose to evade them.
Yeah, runners like heck no. Bye.
It's not like those like okay there's grass and then you get caught. Here it's like there's grass. Oh, you can see them poking out, so you can still find a way to evade them.
That's true. Have you ever been chased by wee bears? Where bears? What are they called?
Bewares.
Bewares.
Tama. Not yet. I don't know if I reached that, but I love it when the Yampers chase me because the Yamper is a corgi.
It's so cute, and they wag.
And even the Wooloos, the sheep Pokemon, when they follow you, when they chase you, you're like, ah.
Man, now it just gets you excited, like where they can take this
Yeah,
development. So
it's
it's
true.
not a bad game. It's definitely interesting. I really like some of the developments. But I just hope like they bring back some of the old mechanics like contests, cooking, or well,
I think the reason then why it's a little simpler kasi they had to move from a handheld console to a home console. So they had to change their graphics, their technical. So I think they spent most of their time and money on that rather than on the creative side. Even though the creatively some of what they added naman is nice. But I get your point na parang it's not as explorative as like the others.
yeah,
Yeah. There's less like stuff to do. Yon, there's
yes,
less stuff to do.
that's true. And your opponents are easy.
Oh. But
Right.
again, yun nga, I think it goes to the fact that they had to make this game transition na from a handheld small game to a big game. So they had to focus talaga on the technical aspect rather than the creative aspect.
Well, I appreciate what they're trying to do.
Yeah, let's just hope na the next one na hopefully comes out earlier kasi the wait between Sun and Moon and Sword and Shield was like 6 years. Tama ba?
Whoa, I didn't even feel that.
Let me check. I have to check. No, it's only 4 years. Oh, kasi Sun and Moon came out 2016.
Time
So
flies.
in 4 years, they created they transitioned from a handheld to a home console. So hopefully within the next 4 to 5 years we have another Pokemon game that has more stuff.
I hope so too, as a longtime fan.
So yeah, basically to summarize everything we've said, basically Pokemon is still a JRPG, but it still feels different because usually JRPGs are more about a specific character, but here it's about you, which is a very Western RPG thing to do, diba?
Yes. It creates for a very personal experience.
Yeah, and I like then the difference between Pokemon and and other JRPGs is the amount of choices in the terms of party members.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else did we say? Story wise, it's a little thin, but it's still good.
Because it makes you explore the world itself.
Yeah, and the gameplay is very simple, but at the same time, it could get complicated. But because of the amount of Pokemon at hand or available, it's a mix of complicated and easy. Ganon.
Yep. And I really like what you said about how your Pokemon party fainting, it's not the end of the world. You just get back up because they make it so
Yeah,
easy to do so. Low risk.
yeah, it's very low risk. Yeah, compared. especially compared to other JRPGs which have permadeath, ganon. And it's not I think some JRPGs kasi are reliant on like a day-night cycle, or more like a what do you call that? Parang there's like a real-time aspect na there's like a time for story and then there's a time for adventure, ganon. Usually ganon ang JRPG, 'di ba? Na there's a really long story part and then there's a really long adventure part and then it's transitions between those two. Here in Pokemon, it's just all adventure.
That's what any little kid would want.
And again, Pokemon is not just for kids.
That's true. I mean,
How
we aren't kids anymore, but we're still playing it.
maybe it helped because we played it as kids, but I think even if you didn't play this as a kid, it's still fun.
I think a bunch of people started out with Sword and Shield.
Yeah. It might seem like a little too easy, especially if you're playing if you're already playing like really hard RPGs, you can stick to that. But we're saying this to people that don't play games as
Mm.
much. Maybe Pokemon is your entry point,
Yep,
diba?
yep. I mean, and they made it so friendly and so easy that a bunch of people can just, I don't know, enter at any point. And like
Yeah.
it's not like the stories are connected naman.
Yeah. It's really great. So, how would you sales in a summary? How would you sales talk? For example, I'm someone hasn't played any RPG ever. For example, I'm someone who's like who likes playing Dungeons and Dragons, ganon. Pero I haven't played the video game. How would you convince me to play Pokemon?
Well, if they like, I don't know, cute characters. Cute characters,
Grabe.
a wealth of choices, flashy moves, simple
Wow.
enough that you don't have to think, but also complicated in that there are like RNG and stuff like that. Then I think that would,
Basically everything we said na.
yeah, basically, I don't know, dude. I wasn't ready.
Anyway, basically what we're saying, Pokemon is more than what you think.
Yes, it's don't underestimate the power
Don't
that's
underestimate the
inside.
addictive power.
Power that's
It's
inside.
gonna be so addictive.
Pokemon, gotta catch 'em.
Yeah. I like na you're singing the song na. Kasi
I'm more
it's
copyright.
we feel so powerful now.
Yeah, I like that. I don't have to fight for myself. My Pokemon do it for me.
Aw. Oh my gosh. That sounds so bad. Uh, again, you Danny, you can attest na parang as someone who's like a casual gamer, not really a very hardcore gamer. You can say, 'di ba, na Pokemon is really different from other RPGs and even other games na it's simple enough na you can just get into it, jump in,
Yeah. And
go and running.
the style, I guess, it's also like, oh, cute pixel.
Mm,
It's not
yeah,
like
yeah.
yung Witcher and then you're Gerald, an intimidating
Or
man.
even Fire Emblem.
Yeah, and Fire Emblem, you're like, I don't know, you're in war.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? I think that helps it.
Yeah. To end this, I would like to also say if you like Pokemon, please play Chrono Trigger because I highly recommend trying Chrono Trigger talaga because it's such a good game because it's very simple then, but it's also very complicated and it's also very long. Like considering it's a small SNES game, it's very long. The story is very long, but the story is very engaging and very good.
That's what I
Love it.
like about.
Yes, we promise you, Danny, your life will change when you play Chrono Trigger. I hope talaga they make a new Chrono Trigger game. But I understand why it's kind of hard kasi nga the idea na it's multiple time periods. That's kind of hard to visualize.
Yeah, very Dragon Ball looking.
Oh, it's even more than that kasi it has sci-fi, it has prehistoric, it has anthropomorphic animals. It has everything talaga in one game. Anyway, to end, thank you, Danny, for coming, for joining the podcast.
And thanks for having me, Luke. Game Master
How
Luke.
how can how can people reach you or like see you if they want to see your art? Again, I have another art friend. You're like the third art friend that I had in the podcast. So if anyone wants to see your art, if they want to talk to you about Pokemon, how can they reach you?
Oh my gosh. My art? You mean like my empty Instagram?
He has Instagram. You can go there.
Yeah, it's Danny Milyar with two eyes. With what? No, it's Danny with two eyes and then Milyar. Someone took Danny Milyar,
Technically, Danny Milliar already has two eyes.
but like another eye after Danny.
So three eyes.
Oh God, no, just two. I can't believe someone took Danny Milyar already.
Oh wow, there's another Danny Milliar.
Yeah, who is she? And why is she not me?
What?
I'm
That's so weird.
gonna look her up.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, Dion. So you can reach her on Instagram. So again, thank you, Danny, for coming. Hope you enjoyed talking about Pokemon.
Thanks, Luke. Thanks for having me. I hope what we talked about made sense to other people.
It does naman, I think. Especially to other people who like Pokemon.
So, bye, everybody. Talk to me about Pokemon.
So that's it for today's episode. Sorry if the audio quality is a little off. I think it's the way it was recorded. So I still hope that you still understood how we talked about Pokemon and stuff. Again, if you liked this episode, feel free to share and subscribe to see more episodes. A new episode comes out every Friday. And if you want to talk to me, you can message me, reach me out on any of my social medias, Look Pagkatipunan everywhere. And that's it for today. And thank you for listening, everyone. So now about the grass again. I'm thinking now, what other good smells actually mean bad things, or, vice versa? Maybe we only don't like the smell of something because we have associated it to smell bad. I wonder whether you can brainwash a person to change what they think on what is a good or bad smell. Or maybe it's evolution.